Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Acosphere Instagram Live. All right, let's get started. So, public speaking is a really vast subject. It is something that is in the mind of human beings and that sometimes keeps you from sleeping. And sometimes when you have to take the stage, when you have to speak in front of an assembly, whether it's at a school or university or at a public forum, at a conference, your mind is so preoccupied with what it is that you need to do that fear installs itself and actually prevents you from doing the things that you can actually do. So Nadia, how do professional public speakers get around this or overcome this issue?
I think one of the main things they do is prepare. Preparation is key. Preparation helps you to actually project yourself into the event that you're working towards. It helps you visualize how you're going to speak, what you're going to say, what tools you might use, and it helps you bring down the level of stress that you may potentially have, which, I mean, we all have a bit of stress that gives adrenaline, but you don't want to have the wrong type of stress that paralyzes you. Anything else you want to add, Gilles, before I go on?
I think preparation is at various levels. Preparation is mental, and a metaphor is really the preparation of sports people. There's so much focus in sports people, and I'm just thinking of Kobe Bryant. I was sharing with somebody that I was working with this morning some of the interviews and some of the presentations of Kobe Bryant. And the level of focus that Kobe Bryant had, this member mentality, was just absolutely astounding. And by the way, maybe some of you don't know, but Kobe Bryant, for his entire life, woke up and was at the gym between 4 and 4:30 in the morning every single day, 365 days a year. And that is a next level of mental strength. One of the very best player ever, he was so prepared every time he was going to play basketball. It was just not even funny. But that's the same thing. It's like a professional sports person, a professional speaker prepares. And it's really, really important to understand that. And Nadia will tell you more about it. But this is one key secret of public speakers that are professional. Because the more you prepare, the more ready you are. And the more what it is that you do is conversational. It looks so natural. It looks as if you were just so talented that you are extraordinary and capable any single time to impact the people that you're speaking out to. A good example of that, I'm going to give one example, Nadia, and I'll let you carry on, is, I like this man, and peace be with his soul, but Steve Jobs, every single year we're launching new products. And for this 1.5 hour that he spoke, the preparation that went into it, I can't tell you exactly what it is, but I know that 3 months prior, every single day he was doing something for 1 to 3 hours, 3 months prior to the event. Amazing.
Thank you, Gilles. That's a great example. I'm going to give a more personal example of preparation. I think it was in 2015 that I was giving a training to a number of ladies in the financial industry in Cotonou, Benin. And I was doing this with a friend of mine, Muriel de Saint-Sauveur, a great lady. And for approximately 2 months, we prepared for this training. It was a training about women leadership. And we prepared. We organized the most beautiful PowerPoint, great images. We really worked on our thing. And we were really prepared to, to the tip of our fingers. And come the day we're in Cotonou, the appointment was at 9. So we got there around 8:30, and the ladies started arriving. We had coffee, but there were no screens. The technicians weren't there. And so we said, okay, let's wait. Let's network. They will arrive. So we networked. Came 9:30, still no screens. We looked at each other and we thought, you know what? If we're going to wait for these guys to show up, we don't know when, we might just miss our training. So we know what we're going to talk about. Let's just get started. And so we started, and we had a fantastic training. These guys showed up at 11. They said they had an accident, they had a problem, and then they wanted to, put the screens. And at that point, we were having so much fun, that we just said, you know what, forget the screen. The lesson here is we knew our stuff. We were really prepared. We knew exactly the interaction we were going to have with each other, the interaction we were going to have with the ladies. We didn't have the images, we didn't have the PowerPoint, but it was all in our head. And that's the level of preparation we're talking about, because it allowed us not to be panicked. We remained very serene, and we did an amazing job. Preparation, that was 2 months preparation for one training. This is what we're talking about when you're gonna, deliver to a certain level.
Thank you, Nadia. So preparation is the first secret that we wanted to share with you. Obviously, in this format, we can't give you all the details, but it is extremely important. And here Kevin says, according to you, can we say the confidence comes from the preparation? And yes, Kevin, some of the fear that I spoke about at the beginning is there because in the corporate world, for instance, you will be told that you have a presentation to do from one day to the next often, but also you have time sometimes, like that in 3 weeks time, you're going to have a presentation. But the behavior and the habits that we get in the corporate world, because we have so much to do, or we feel we have so much to do, is that we leave it to the last minute. So we leave it to like 2-3 days before, and then we are actually stressed, and that fear comes up. Mm-hmm. And that fear is what doesn't allow us to have a clear mind and to think clearly about what it is that I need to do. How do I need to prepare? What is my plan? What is my destination? Where do I want to take the audience? What is the vision for that particular day? What are the messages, or what is the 1, 2, or 3 messages that I want to deliver? And how do I actually do what is called retro planning? Mm-hmm. So just like Stephen Covey says in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, start with the end in mind. So when you have the end in mind, you know exactly where you want to take your public, and therefore you know how you want to take your public, and you have time to think about it. Give yourself time. Even if it's just thinking about how you structure and how you plan for your presentation, you need to do this in advance. And you need to do this well in advance so that you are actually completely calm the day that you present, because you have prepared it so well. But the preparation goes into also a lot of minute details, which we share in our courses, and we don't have time in 1 hour to really do it justice. But preparation is really, really essential. So we have a couple of comments. I'm gonna try and take them in order. So somebody with a name AZSQ, I think it's 898. Gilles, I saw you first time 28 years ago. That was yesterday. We want to know the secret of how you stay young. I know you don't go to the gym every day. Well, there is a time when I used to go to the gym almost every day, 5 to 7 days a week. And I did this for many years. Some of you may know, but in my early years, I was a national athlete, not a professional athlete, but a national athlete in basketball and in track and field. I was fortunate to win as a team with my team in France, the national championship for track and field for all events, and also another track and field events. But I also played basketball at a national level, and I played in the reserve team of a first division team. I'm quite proud about this, and it's two sports that I love. So all of my life, I've been doing a lot of sports. In the last few years, much less, but I've been doing something that we're going to talk about later, which is yoga. And I've been doing some exercises just at home. So you need 10, 15, 20 minutes every day or every other day or 3 times a week to keep yourself in shape. In terms of the youth, I think I have good genes, and I thank my mother and my father for that. So that was the first comment. Thank you very much, Nadia. I'm going to pass on to you the next one. Let me have a look at it. So it was about the confidence, comes from preparation. If you can just finish on that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It was about confidence comes from preparation. If you can finish on that. I started earlier, but if you can just conclude on that one, please.
Yes, confidence does come from preparation, definitely. And before I finish on that, there is a comment about it. Abdugay says, it is truly about mastering the content and visualizing the delivery. Absolutely, absolutely. The more you master your content, the more you are prepared, the more also you have and you master the tools of public speaking, the more you will have confidence. But confidence also grows from one experience to the other. The more you have the successful experience, the more your confidence is going to grow. There is another, oh no, that's all for now.
Okay. So that was the first secret of professional public speakers. The second one is really, really important. The second one, ladies and gentlemen, is about punctuation. Punctuation. There's a whole set of things behind punctuation. Punctuation is really critical. If you want to take your public to another level, you've got to be able to play with your voice and punctuate not only your sentences, but your thoughts, your emotions in such a way that it has the exact impact you want to have on your public.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, punctuation is the music. It gives rhythm to what you say. It gives life to what you say, but it also gives meaning. And just as it is important when you write to have the commas and the semicolons, well, when you speak, you need to punctuate. You need to give rhythm. You need to give volume. And so if you work on that, you get a much more impactful delivery. So you want to tell us more?
Yeah, so if I want to sell something to you, and I am actually saying my product, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very good, you should take it, I will probably convey to you 2 things. First, that I'm not very confident and that I don't have maybe very much self-esteem. And therefore, I will not convince you that you should take my product. But if I want to sell a product to you and I say, this is the very best product, ladies and gentlemen, you will not find anything that looks nearly like it in the marketplace. It is a product that is so good that, you know, we even hesitated to present it to you because there's so much demand. And I'm afraid to say that if you want to take our next course in public speaking, there is such a waiting list that you should register right now, today, ladies and gentlemen. That is a different level of punctuation, and that will give you and convey to you a different level of confidence. So the punctuation and everything that goes with it, with your voice, the different intonations of your voice, are absolutely and fundamentally critical. And this is something that you really, really need to master. If you don't, you're just another number. When you go to a conference and you do not punctuate in a different way than everybody else, you're just a number. You're just one of 4 or 5 people, and they might not remember you after that conference. Nadia?
No, I totally agree, Gilles. I totally agree with what you just said. It makes such a difference. You know, when you attend events or conferences, some speakers you won't forget, and others, maybe a few days later, you don't even remember that they were there. This is all because of this punctuation thing. It's not just the content, it's how you say it. It makes the whole difference. So remember, punctuation is the rhythm, is how you bring life to your voice, and your voice is probably the most important tool that you have in public speaking.
So let me stop here. Do you hear us well, both Nadia and myself? Please, somebody write something. Let us know that you're hearing us well. And let me remind you, whilst you're doing this, that if you have questions about public speaking, it is time to do so. You can put them into the question mark. Good. Thank you for telling us that you're hearing us well. You can just write them under your name and we will read them, or you can, thank you, very good, excellent. Glad to hear that you are hearing us well. You can write them into the questions that there's this question section at the bottom of your screen, or you can just write them on your screen and we'll read them. So the first point that we spoke about in terms of secret of public speakers, professional public speakers, is certainly the preparation. That preparation doesn't take away all of the fear. Everybody, the best speaker in the world, I'm going to give a few names, venture to give a few names, whether it's Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, whether it was, peace be with him, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, whether it is the awesome, absolutely awesome, one of the best speakers today, Michelle Obama, and we'll talk about her later, whether it is Oprah Winfrey, whether it is Sheryl Sanders, or anyone else that is at the world-class level of public speaking. Everybody has fear, but the preparation allows you to master that fear, dance with it, as Tony Robbins would say, and be confident and bring the value that people are looking for when you're speaking. The second one is punctuation. How do you actually use your best instrument, your voice?
Gilles, talking about punctuation, do you want to tell us a story?
Come again?
Can you tell us a story about punctuation?
Sure. I will tell you a story about years ago, because there's some people that I used to work with who were part of my team at Xerox Egypt here. The first time I had to do a major speech was at Xerox Egypt. I had 1,000 employees. And I tell you, I was excited, I was prepared, but I was also full of emotions that were between fear and excitement. And I remember when I first started to speak, my boss was there. He had just come from England. And when I started to speak, my voice cracked. And so I realized it, but I was not too aware of it. Because I had a lot of energy and was well prepared, I just shook it off. And I started speaking louder. And as I spoke louder, people started clapping. Even though I didn't think there was anything worth clapping at the time. But the excitement and the emotion that I was conveying with my voice made them feel and resonate with my voice. And so at the time, I was speaking in a very quick manner, systematically. Nowadays, as professors, I have way more differences, different volumes, different vibrations, different tonality in my voice when I speak to the public. So yeah, this is a story that stuck with me. And I have a few stories of what the fear brought to me at the beginning, particularly of a speech. But when you're well prepared, then it just disappears. You go away and you carry on speaking, and you forget about it. How can we improve, before we go to our next point, how can we improve our punctuation? Some tips. Nadia, do you want to maybe show even one of the tips?
Well, one of the tips is to train your voice. And I suggest singing, but you could read a text out loud, or you could just speak, as long as you use different tones. So let me try this. Oh, oh Lord, hear my prayer, Lord. When I call, answer me, oh Lord, hear my prayer, Lord, hear my prayer, and listen to me. So I've tried to use, higher tones, go into the lower ones, go a bit faster, and then slow down. You have to try to do as much as you can. Choose a song that you like and just sing and just be yourself and let your voice just go. And the more you do it, the more, because your chords, it's like a guitar or a piano. You have to train the chords. You have to warm them so that they're actually performed. So that's one tip.
So, second tip is punctuation. The third tip, ladies and gentlemen, I'll show you. A very important part of your public speaking is mastering silence. And I'll let you, Nadia, say maybe a little story of something that happened to us years ago when we were masters of ceremony. But before that, I will say there are different types of public speaking engagement that you may have. The traditional one, the corporate one, is you're presenting some numbers, you're presenting some facts, you're presenting your company to a group of people, and you can be standing, sitting around the table, or you can be standing and you have people sitting around the table, or in theater disposition in a room. That's the first one. You can also, in this particular instance, be doing a motivational speech and motivate either youth, basketball players, sports people, or anybody else, young girls at school, young professional women, entrepreneurs, any particular public. Another form of speech is a political speech that usually happens behind a pulpit. And there too, the points that we're making are very important in the preparation. You can then have a conference where you're actually speaking, or a roundtable where you're speaking with investors or peers or partners. So in all these circumstances, you need to really use the public speaking tips that we're giving to you. But you can also be selling some of your product, solution, services, or selling yourself at an interview. And in all these cases, the tips that we're sharing with you are so important to make the difference between you and anybody else. So the next tip, which we started showing to you, which is the third one, is obviously silence. Nadia, would you like to tell us a story about it?
Of course, yes. Thank you, Gilles. So this was in 2017, I believe. We were in Rabat. We were masters of ceremony for the Africa Design Days. And it was an event with approximately 300 people in the room. And there was, drinks and sort of a cocktail before the event actually started. And so so Gilles and I were on the stage, and it was quite a large stage. And so we stood at, both ends of the stage, did not move, and we were totally silent. Absolutely, totally silent for approximately 5 minutes. What happened at that moment is initially people kept talking. They had been asked to come and take their seats. They kept talking. And then some of them realized that we were standing. So they turned and looked at us. They saw that we weren't speaking. So they were puzzled. And then progressively, without us having to say a word, they started coming towards their seats and sat down. It took us 5 minutes of complete silence. It was impressive. It was very efficient.
So silence is a very, very important tool. It's one tool that allows you to be comfortable with who you are. And it's related to the next tool that we'll share with you. But for those of you who want to master these points, master preparation, master punctuation, master silence, in order to have a maximum impact on the public that you're speaking to, we are organizing a public speaking training in Gorée, Senegal. And a lot of people have asked us, can we do it online? Can we do it in English? So depending on how many people want to do it online, we will open the online training as well. It's on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of October. Registrations are open and they're filling out fast. So if you're interested, just leave me a message, leave Nadia a message, or go onto our Acosphere different platforms, and you'll find a registration form in the next few days for you to fill out. But coming back to our key points, the point about silence is really an important one. Very few public speakers master it. When you master it, you also master your nerves. You manage to cool down. You manage to tune down to the point that your nervousness goes so low or almost disappears or completely disappears, and it is contagious, because public speaking, like everything we do, is energy and vibrations that you are transmitting to the public, and the public transmits back to you. And so mastering silence is really, really important if you want to become more professional at public speaking. Nadia?
Thanks, Jill. I just wanted to add that quite often speakers do the opposite. They're afraid of the silence. And so they will speak more, they will speak faster, they will add more and more and give too much information because they're uncomfortable with the silence. But actually, that silence, as Jill rightfully said, allows you to cool down. It also allows your audience to take the time to absorb what you're saying. And so silence is actually an ally rather than an enemy. And it's important to feel comfortable with silence.
You bet, Kevin. Exactly, Nadia, he says. And Wolf of Wall Street, thanks you for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Says, lol, that's how high school teachers do here to grab the attention. Yes, indeed. And as in the example of Nadia, where this was the extreme for us at Rabat, I think it was the Africa Design Days, where we were masters of ceremony in front of 300 people. We just kept silent for 5 minutes after having a few times told people, please come and take your seats, please come and take your seats. We just decided to be silent, and everybody got into the ranks and ended up sitting down and listening. So that's three. First one is preparation. The second one is your punctuation. How do you actually use your best instruments to make sure that not only do you grab the attention of people, but you actually impact the people exactly how you want to impact them. The third one, master the art of silence. It's good for you and it's good for your public. Let's get to the fourth one. You know, what is the most important? Let me ask you a question, and I'm going to pause for a second to hear your answers. There's no bad answer, so just go ahead and write what you think. What is one of the most important thing that you need to master to be able to speak well and to feel comfortable speaking well? What is one of the thing that you need to live? That is this particular thing that I'm talking about. You need this thing. If you don't have this thing, you don't leave anymore. What is this thing that's so important in public speaking? So I'm going to pause here for a few seconds or minutes and let you just give breathing. Absolutely. Wolf of Wall Street. Breathing. So I'll come back to your question and your comments, Abdu, a bit later, but it is definitely breathing. So I invite you to do the exercise, the following exercise. I'm going to do it once or twice, show you how to do it, and then you can do it with me. One of the issues that we have with breathing is because we're nervous, we have some fear, we have some concerns when we speak publicly, we're excited and we speak fast. We tend to breathe from our lungs here, and our breathing tends to be quite mechanical, go into our lungs and come out. And that creates tension, actually. And our hands tend to go up and create some tension in the upper part of our body. So our entire body becomes tight. Yes, somebody's saying air. Yes, absolutely. And so in order to manage this, you have to breathe from your stomach, meaning you have to breathe in, let the air go down into your stomach, and then breathe out through the nose or through the mouth. And so the exercise that I'm going to do, and I will invite you in a minute or so to do it with me, is we're going to breathe counting to 6. So push the air into our stomach and breathe out counting to 6 as well. And breathe in. Push the air into our stomach and breathe out counting to 6 as well. So let's get started all together. I invite you to breathe all the air that you have out of your lungs. Breathe out everything you have. And now get started. Breathe in. Push the air into your stomach and breathe out. Breathe in. Push the air into your stomach and breathe out. Breathe in. Push the air into your stomach and breathe out. Two more times. Breathe in. Push the air into your stomach and breathe out. One last time. Breathe in. Push the air into your stomach and breathe out. So, tell me how you're feeling. Tell us, Nadia and I, how you are feeling. Feel free to write it. How did this make you feel? You may hear in my voice, my tone of voice has mellowed because my whole state, mental, physical state, is just enhanced by the oxygen that I have pulled in a bigger way than before. When you breathe in and you breathe out and you give yourself time to do so by using the third secret of public speakers, which is silence, gives you time to breathe. It makes you just feel much, much better. So breathing is really essential. Nadia, anything else on breathing?
I think you've said it all, Gilles. Breathing oxygenates your body, so it relaxes your muscles. It lowers your level of stress. And it's okay in the middle of your presentation or your speech to use silence to make time for breathing. When you feel that you're becoming too tense, just breathe. Take the time to breathe. It works. It really does.
Some of the best speakers are politicians. You have to say that. And recently we've had many examples of politicians speaking. In America, it is the election time. And so we had the Republican convention a few weeks ago. And just maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had the Democratic convention. If you want to see some examples of really good speakers, and I started to speak about her being, with all respect, a former First Lady of America, no other than Michelle Obama. Her speech for 20 minutes or so at the Democratic National Convention, it's just one of the very best speech ever.
Amazing.
And at some stage she says, somebody is going to have to tell him that he's going after one of these black jobs. I love that, which was just a joke to say that somebody needs to tell Trump that he's going after a black job, meaning her husband had been the president, a black man, and now Kamala Harris is going to take the thunder away from him and be president. And that was her message, but it was done in a very incredible way. And the whole theatrical piece, the whole playful piece about it was also just remarkable. So if you want to see some really good public speeches, go and watch the Democratic National Convention. I'm biased, but I think there are some better speakers there than at the Republican session, but there are some good speakers at the Republican convention as well. So you can look at both.
I do share your bias, Gilles, and I have to say Michelle Obama, on top of the humor, her speech was powerful. She used emotion, the choice of words, the contrasts, everything was there. I mean, this is a piece of anthology. Anybody who is interested in public speaking must watch that speech.
And so we're coming to the fifth and last. And I think we're going to be speaking about some of the speakers that we spoke about, and maybe others as well, on the fifth and last secret. And before I say that, Wall of Wall Street says a true masterclass. It was absolutely a true masterclass. I think he's speaking about the speech of Michelle Obama, but if he's speaking about this too, thank you very much.
Yes,
but either way.
Abdul Gates just said Barack and Michelle Obama's speech were great. And absolutely. So I think the answer of Wolf of Wall Street is to that.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So it is a true masterclass. One spoke after the other. I think Michelle Obama spoke for about 19 minutes and Barack for about 33. But both of them were just very impactful. And go and have a look at it. So the fifth element, which is a very important one to work on. But before we go there, I have a question. We have a question for you. How many of you like, and we want to see just yeses if you like them. How many of you like films or series? Just put yes in the feed if you like films or series. Go ahead. Just write yes, please. If you like films or series, just write yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. We're getting some yeses. Okay. Wow. Okay. You like films and series. Great. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going. Do you like films or series? Very good. We're getting lots of yeses. Excellent. Well, this is an important point, and Peter, I'll come back to your point afterwards. It's an important point because this last point, which makes a significant difference, whether you want to sell something, a product, yourself, a service, an ID, whether you want to sell something to investors, you want the investors to invest in your company, invest in yourself, invest in some sort of ideation. You need to master this part. Nadia?
Oh, this part is a part that I love, a part that I enjoy. It brings life to whatever you want to share. It impacts people in a manner that they will remember more what you're talking about. They will visualize what you want to share with them. And the reason, shall I reveal it, Jill?
I think maybe you should do it first and then reveal what it is. Whichever way you want to do it. I don't mind.
Okay, let me do it first then, so I can be a bit cheeky. I want to talk about something. I want to talk about Awa and Abib. You see, Awa is a young lady who lives in a West African country. She's a beautiful woman, young, dark-skinned. And she has this little boy, 2 years old, called Habib. Habib, ah, Habib is wonderful. His eyes are full of light. His smile just makes you feel happy whenever you see him. But here's the thing. Awa lost her husband, sadly, and she lives in a village with her husband's family. They don't have much, and so life is tough. And for that reason, we hardly ever see Awa smile. She's constantly thinking about how am I going to make ends meet? How am I going to raise this child of mine? And so one day she wants to go and visit her family on the other side of the savannah. And she starts walking and she's carrying Habib on her back, as African women do. And as she's walking and thinking, all of a sudden she hears this strange voice come out of nowhere and call her Awa. She looks around, like, who's calling me? Can't see anybody here. But the voice insists, Awa. So she's a bit frightened. She says, who, who are you? Who's calling me? And she's looking around, but she sees nothing but a tree. And the voice says, I am the spirit of the baobab. Spirit of the baobab? Ooh, what's this? And the voice says, how I know your problems. And I have a solution for you. You see, in a few seconds, I'm going to open up. You must step into my trunk. There you will find everything you need. But remember, when I say stop, you must jump out. And do not forget the essential. Did you hear me? Yes, I heard you. I heard you. Okay, so the trunk opens up and Awa jumps in. And she sees everything she could dream of. There's gold, there's jewelry, there's all sorts of treasures in there. It's all glittering. I was excited. Habib, we will never have a problem. Ever again. We're saved. This is wonderful. And so she's grabbing and grabbing and grabbing and grabbing. But she only has two hands. How much can you grab with two hands? So she undoes the piece of fabric she's carrying Habib with. And she sits him and says, Habib, sit there and wait. And so she fills this piece of fabric with treasures. And she's excited and she's happy and she's joyful. And all of a sudden she hears stop and she grabs everything and she jumps out. Oh, Awa is so happy. Awa is delighted and she's thinking and joyful. And she says, Habib, you know, we have no more problems. Life is going to be wonderful. But she doesn't hear Habib laugh. Habib, she puts her hand on her back. Habib is not there. You see, ladies and gentlemen, she grabbed the treasures and she was so excited. But she forgot the essential. Habib stayed in the baobab tree. So whatever you do in life, whatever you do, ladies and gentlemen, in life, and whatever you pursue, never, ever, ever forget the essential. Thank you.
And so what is the secret that you are revealing, Nadia, the fifth and last secret that we're revealing today?
Let our friends guess.
Okay, so what is the secret that Nadia just shared with you, ladies and gentlemen? Take a guess.
Amazing story, thank you, yes.
There is no bad. Sorry, what you were saying, Nadia?
No, Sukaina said amazing story, and I said thank you everyone. Wolf of Wall Street says the power of a great storyteller. Absolutely, it is storytelling, ladies and gentlemen. Storytelling. It makes such a difference, and your story needs not be long. It just needs to be impactful. It just needs to illustrate your message in a manner that people will remember.
And your story does not need to be, there's no copyright on the stories, ladies and gentlemen. The story that Nadia shared, I think, is a story that one of the people that we trained said one day, and we've been using it ever since. But it is a very powerful story when you want to focus on the essential. And you can use it in different contexts. You can use it in the finance industry. You can use it in the art industry. You can use it in the technology industry. Everywhere, you should not forget the essentials. And it's so important. And storytelling is a way to convince your public, to sell to your public, that is second to none. And you see, for many years, we Africans have been really bred to stories, whether we were children with a grandfather, a grandmother, an aunt, a mother, an elder brother or sister telling us stories, whether it was at the time of bedtime or during the day, next to a baobab, for instance, next to the l'arbre à palabre, as we say it in French. We have been really bred with stories, and we need to use the power of storytelling, which in recent years, in the past 15, 20 years, the world has woken up to the fact that it is so important to be able to storytell. It is so important because it has an impact and it allows you to sell better than any other time when you tell a story and to be more convincing. And so you need to learn the power of storytelling. That's why we asked you earlier, who among you likes films and who among you likes series? Because they are just a set of stories. And coming back to Michelle Obama at the the Democratic National Convention, there's so many anecdotes, there's so many metaphors that she used to really bring the messages to life. Hope, ladies and gentlemen, is back in town, she said at some stage. So it is very, very powerful. When you master the art of storytelling, there is no stopping you. And your credibility just jumps through the roof. So there are a few comments that we'll take back. So storytelling, emotional connection, very expressive storytelling. Wow, says someone, the power of a great storyteller. Thank you very much for your comments. Indeed, storytelling is really important. Welcome to the last people who've just come and joined. So we talked about 5 secrets of public speakers, very important ones. Nadia, do you want to go through them or do you want me to do so?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm happy to go through them. We talked about preparation. So the importance of retro planning and visualizing precisely what is it that you are going to talk about, how you're going to deliver. We talked about punctuation, which is how you use that beautiful instrument that is God-given, which is your voice, to punctuate, to give life, to give rhythm to your speech. We spoke about the use of silence, to give strength to what you're saying. We spoke about the importance of breathing, because without oxygen, without air, without a proper breathing, you have no voice. You will choke. And finally, we spoke about storytelling, the power of storytelling. And we all know that storytelling is a skill that is almost as ancient as, human beings, human civilizations. It is a skill that spans across the world. Storytelling is what human beings do the best, but maybe somewhere along the way, many of us have lost that skill, and we need to learn again how to use it.
So that's it in terms of 5 secrets of professional public speakers. Stage readiness, getting ready for being on stage. That's was the theme of today. We'll take a few last minutes to answer any questions that you may have. So this is your time. If you haven't asked a question before and you want to ask a question, this is your time. Feel free to do so. If there are no questions, we'll close. But if you have 1 or 2 questions about what we've said or anything else related to public speaking, this is the time to utter them and to say them.
This is your moment.
And thank you for your interactions and your many comments. Sauda says preparation. Yeah, preparation is so important. And I tend to look at, and I spoke about basketball and track and field, but I could speak about football. I tend to look at the public speaking profession as that of a professional sports person, because it requires a significant amount of work for you to be at the top of your game, at the top of your trade. And it is just like whether you like Messi or Ronaldo or Pelé or somebody else, Zidane or whoever else. I think we have Sadio Mane. We have a lot of Senegalese here, and maybe DJ Rogba, so that nobody is forgotten. Whether you are one of these people, you will be training like 10,000 times on one gesture. And if you're Kobe Bryant, you're going to be doing it 2 or 3 times more than everybody else, because that's just your metal. That's what you're made of. It's the same thing in public speaking. For this event, Nadia and I, even though we are professionals and trained, we've been working on this and preparing this for the past few days. The past few hours, we've been doing some fine-tuning about what it is that we were going to say to you. So it is really, really a game that is different from what you see on a day-to-day basis in the corporate world, for instance, and it requires learning the skill. So for those of you who want to go further, we are doing a training 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of October in Gorée. And if there are sufficient people who want to do it online, we will be doing it online as well. Feel free to drop me a line, to drop Nadia a line, or to go on one of the Acosphere platforms to ask for it. So we do have some questions, and we're going to take them now.
Yes, we do.
So let's get started. Roland, thank you for being here. Congrats, Gilles and Nadia. I got only the last 10 minutes, but I learned a lot for the 5 steps presented by Nadia. Keep inspiring us. Thank you, Roland. Soukaina, qu'est-ce que vous suggérez de faire quand on perd ses mots à cause du stress en début de speech, malgré la maîtrise du sujet? So, you want to start, Nadia, or you want me to start?
Sure, I can start. What I do when I feel stressed, I breathe. I take a deep breath. But there's something else that that I also do, that we teach in our course. Gilles, shall I let you go on that one?
So, yeah, I think you're okay. I'm connected again. Hello, are you back here?
I'm back.
Can you hear me, everybody? Okay. Were you referring to that one, Nadia?
Yes.
Yeah. So we probably have another session on this one, but it is really a question. I think it's Soukaina who asked the question. Yeah, Soukaina. It is really, really a question of mindset. And mindset is a very, very vast subject. Anything can rattle your mindset, or nothing can rattle your mindset, depending on who you are and depending on how you're actually looking at things. So you can actually work on your mindset to be able to not feel under any pressure any single time, before, during, or even after your presentation.
Hello.
But otherwise, it's
Hello?
preparation, which also is related to mindset, which is the first element that we spoke about. So preparation is really, really important, and breathing, as Nadia mentioned, and then mindset. And if you really work on this, and the level of work that I'm asking you to do, with all due respect, you do not realize how much it is. You see Michelle Obama, and she spoke for 15 minutes. She probably prepared for 30 hours for those 15 minutes. 30 hours. So no wonder that she comes and she looks like she is so talented. This lady is just a genius. Yes, she is. But preparation is what is behind that. So 30 hours for 15 minutes. That's what it takes to get rid of the maximum, if not all, of the stress. So, I hope this was a comprehensive answer for you. So what do you suggest doing when you lose your word? Okay, so you just translated that in English. So, all right, let me have a look at other comments. Very interesting, so interesting about stress, for example. Thank you, Isabelle. Toujours un plaisir de bénéficier de votre expertise. Merci. Vous êtes de vrais experts. Bravo. Always a pleasure to benefit from your expertise. Thank you. You're true experts. Thank you. Thank you very much, Marie-Jo. Congratulations. Thanks a lot. Let's see. Thank you, Gilles and Nadia. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so very much. I want to keep you for a few more seconds. Our next event is supposed to be on the 26th. We might have to change it because we're traveling on that day. If we can do it, we will do it on the 26th. We have a fabulous person to interview on that day. Really a fabulous person. Somebody who knows a significant amount about customer experience and customer service. Somebody just extraordinary that I can't wait to introduce to you. And it will be a pleasure to interview that person, whether it is on the 26th, maybe at a different time than the usual time, but just watch for the timing, and from next week we will be communicating the exact dates of this. I'm glad you enjoyed this session. Max came back home, lol. So that's between you and us, Sauda, but Max is Sauda's dog, lovely dog, Berger Allemand, I think it is. We had pleasure, Nadia and I, in having this session with you. I think Nadia was not distracted, but got called in because somebody rang at the door. If there is any other question, I will answer them. I'm trying to make some time so that Nadia can actually say goodbye to you. But if she can't, in a few minutes, we'll close. It was really a pleasure to be with you on this session. Public speaking is something very serious, something that can change your life, change your corporate life, change your perspectives and your opportunities in life. You really need to take it seriously. And, I thank a number of people here, Marie-Jo, Sauda, and I'm sure I'm missing a number of them who have attended our course. And thank you for saying I concur, Sauda. But it's been a pleasure to share this with you, and we'll try to do it from time to time and share with you some tips of public speaking. But the tips are not enough. You can either play, if you like football, and be a spectator, and you feel that you're playing the football because you're seeing and you're watching your favorite team, but you need to be on the pitch if you want to be better at public speaking. Are you saving this replay? Peter asked me. Yes, and Peter, I said I would mention your comments. Yes, we are. These replays are all on our page. So Peter, let me get back to your point, which is interesting to everyone. Un très grand plaisir de vous voir, tonton et tanti. Thank you for that comment. Also, somebody made that comment. But here, let me just get to Peter. Nadia, are you coming back before we close?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great.
I had an urgent thing
just
to
Peter
say.
had a comment. I'm just getting to Peter's comments. Yeah, Peter. The former Prime Minister of Norway, Gro Brundtland, she credits theater and acting for improving her speaking. Yes. One of the ways you can improve your speech, and I think Abdu also mentioned Broadway. One of the ways you can improve the quality of your speeches, particularly the quality of your storytelling, is watching theater, watching musicals, going to watch performances of theater, and you will learn a lot and you will have more impact, particularly again in your storytelling. So Nadia, I'll leave you the last word. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been a pleasure, a delight, and an honor to serve you today in this way. Nadia?
Yes, so thank you, everyone. And my apologies if I missed the last few questions, but it was really a pleasure to spend this time with you. I hope you learned a few tips. We enjoyed being with you today. We're happy to restart the Instagram Live season, and we look forward to seeing some of you during the training in October, whether online or in person. I saw Peter had a question asking if this is going to be saved for replay. Yes, you can go onto Gilles' page, Gilles Amadou Akoni on Instagram, and all our lives are saved on that page, so you can review them. You can also share them if you so wish to do. Thank you very much, and
thank you for your
soon.
comments.
Thank you.
Thank you, Isabel.